Coming to the section 3, terms and definitions. The standard under section 3 states that the terms and definitions given in ISO 9000-2015 apply for the purposes of the standard, that is 9001-2015. We shall discuss those terms and definitions now, which are given in ISO 9000-2015. Let's start with the terms related to person or people. Top management. Top management is a person or group of people who directs and controls an organization at the highest level. For example, director, proprietor, founder, etc. Top management has the power to delegate authority and provide resources within the organization. If the scope of the management system covers only part of an organization, then top management refers to those who direct and control the part of that organization. Quality Management System Consultant, QMS consultant, is a person who assists the organization on quality management system realization, giving advice or information. The quality management system consultant can also assist in realizing parts of a quality management system. ISO 10019-2005 also provides guidance on how to distinguish a competent quality management system consultant from one who is not competent. Involvement. Involvement is basically taking part in an activity, event, or situation. Engagement. Engagement is involvement in and contribution to activities to achieve shared objectives. Configuration authority or configuration control board or dispositioning authority. Configuration authority is a person or a group of persons with assigned responsibilities and authority to make decisions on the configuration. Relevant interested parties within and outside the organization should be represented on the configuration authority. Dispute resolver. Dispute resolver is an individual person assigned by a dispute resolution process or DRP provider. Dispute provider is to assist the parties in resolving a dispute. For example, staff, volunteers, contract personnel. Now coming to the terms related to organization. Organization. So organization is a person or group of people that has its own functions with responsibilities, authorities, and relationships to achieve its objectives. The concept of organization includes, but is not limited to, sole trader, company, corporation, firm, enterprise, authority, partnership, association, charity or institution, or part or combination thereof, whether incorporated or not, public or private. Context of the organization. Context of the organization is a combination of internal and external issues that can have an effect on an organization's approach to developing and achieving its objectives. The organization's objectives can be related to its product and services, investments, and behavior towards its interested parties. The concept of context of the organization is equally applicable to not-for-profit or public service organizations as it is to those seeking profits. In English, this concept is often referred to by other terms such as business environment, organizational environment, or ecosystem of an organization. Interested party or stakeholder. Interested party or stakeholder is a person or organization that can affect, be affected by, or perceive itself to be affected by a decision or activity. For example, customers, owners, people in an organization, providers, bankers, regulators, unions, partners, or society that can include competitors or opposing pressure groups. Customer. Customer is a person or organization that could or does receive a product or a service that is intended for or required by this person or organization. For example, consumer, client, end user, retailer, receiver of product or service from an internal process, beneficiary, and purchaser. A customer can be internal or external to the organization. Provider or supplier. Provider or supplier is an organization that provides a product or a service. Examples of providers are producer, distributor, retailer, or vendor, etc. A provider can be internal or external to the organization. In a contractual situation, a provider is sometimes called contractor. External provider or external supplier. External provider or external supplier is a provider that is not a part of the organization. For example, a producer, distributor, retailer, or vendor of a product or a service. DRP provider or dispute resolution process provider. DRP provider is a person or organization that supplies and operates an external dispute resolution process. Generally, a DRP provider is a legal entity separate from the organization or person as an individual and the complainant. In this way, the attributes of independence and fairness are emphasized. In some situations, a separate unit is established within the organization to handle unresolved complaints. The DRP provider contracts with the parties to provide dispute resolution and is accountable for performance. The DRP provider supplies dispute resolvers. The DRP provider also utilizes support, executive and other managerial staff to supply financial resources, clerical support, scheduling assistance, training, meeting rooms, supervision, and similar functions. DRP providers can take many forms, including not-for-profit, for-profit, and public entities. An association can also be a DRP provider. In ISO 10003-2007, instead of the term DRP provider, the term provider is used. Association. Association is an organization consisting of member organizations or persons. Metrological function. Metrological function is a functional unit with administrative and technical responsibility for defining and implementing the measurement management system. Terms related to activity. Improvement. Improvement is activity to enhance performance. The activity can be recurring or singular. Continual improvement. Continual improvement is recurring activity to enhance performance. The process of establishing objectives and finding opportunities for improvement is a continual process through the use of audit findings and audit conclusions, analysis of data, management reviews, or other means, and generally leads to corrective action or preventive action. Management. Management is a coordinated activities to direct and control an organization. Management can include establishing policies and objectives and processes to achieve these objectives. The word management sometimes refers to people, that is, a person or group of people with authority and responsibility for the conduct and control of an organization. Quality management. Quality management is basically management with regard to quality. Quality management can include establishing quality policies and quality objectives and processes to achieve these quality objectives through quality planning, quality assurance, quality control, and quality improvement. Quality planning. Quality planning is a part of quality management focused on setting quality objectives and specifying necessary operational processes and related resources to achieve the quality objectives. Establishing quality plans can be part of quality planning. Quality assurance. Quality assurance is a part of quality management focused on providing confidence that quality requirements will be fulfilled. Quality control. Quality control is a part of quality management focused on fulfilling quality requirements. Quality improvement. Quality improvement is a part of quality management focused on increasing the ability to fulfill the quality requirements. The quality requirements can be related to any aspect such as effectiveness, efficiency, or traceability. Configuration management. Configuration management is coordinated activities to direct and control configuration. Configuration management generally concentrates on technical and organizational activities that establish and maintain control of a product or service and its product configuration information throughout the life cycle of the product. Change control. Change control is a set of activities for control of the output after formal approval of its product configuration information. Activity. Activity is smallest identified object of work in a project. Project management. Project management is planning, organizing, monitoring, controlling, and reporting of all aspects of a project and the motivation of all those involved in it to achieve the project objectives. Configuration object. Configuration object is an object within a configuration that satisfies an end user function. Let's talk about the terms related to process. Process is a set of interrelated or interacting activities that use inputs to deliver an intended result. Whether the intended result of a process is called output, product, or service depends on the context of the reference. Inputs to a process are generally the outputs of other processes, and outputs of a process are generally the inputs to other processes. Two or more interrelated and interacting processes in series can also be referred to as a process. Processes in an organization are generally planned and carried out under controlled conditions to add value. A process where the conformity of the resulting output cannot be readily or economically validated is frequently referred to as a special process. Project. Project is a unique process consisting of a set of coordinated and controlled activities with start and finish dates undertaken to achieve an objective, conforming to specific requirements, including the constraints of time, cost, and resources. Quality Management System Realization. Quality Management System Realization is a set of establishing, documenting, implementing, maintaining, and continually improving a quality management system. Competence acquisition. Competence acquisition is a process of attaining competence. Procedure. Procedure is a specified way to carry out an activity or a process. Outsource. Outsource means making an arrangement where an external organization performs part of an organization's function or process. An external organization is outside the scope of the management system, although the outsourced function or process is within the scope. Contract. Contract means binding agreement. Design and development. Design and development is a set of processes that transform requirements for an object into more detailed requirements for that object. Let's discuss terms related to system. System. So, system is a set of interrelated or interacting elements. Infrastructure. Infrastructure is a system of facilities, equipment, and services needed for the operation of an organization. Management system. Management system is a set of interrelated or interacting elements of an organization to establish policies and objectives and processes to achieve those objectives. A management system can address a single discipline or several disciplines. Example, quality management, financial management, or environmental management. The management system elements establish the organization's structure, roles, and responsibilities, planning, operation, policies, practices, rules, beliefs, objectives, and processes to achieve those objectives. The scope of a management system can include the whole of the organization, specific and identified functions of the organization, specific and identified sections of the organization, or one or more functions across a group of organizations. Quality management system. Quality management system is a part of management system with regards to quality. Work environment. Work environment is a set of conditions under which work is performed. Conditions can include physical, social, psychological, and environmental factors such as temperature, lighting, recognition schemes, occupational stress, ergonomics, and atmospheric composition. Metrological confirmation. Metrological confirmation is a set of operations required to ensure that measuring equipment conforms to the requirements for its intended use. Metrological confirmation generally includes calibration or verification, any necessary adjustment or repair, and subsequent recalibration, comparison with the metrological requirements for the intended use of the equipment, as well as any required sealing and labeling. Metrological confirmation is not achieved until and unless the fitness of the measuring equipment for the intended use has been demonstrated and documented. The requirements for intended use include such considerations as range, resolution, and maximum permissible errors. Metrological requirements are usually distinct from and are not specified in Product 3.7.6 requirements. Measurement Management System. Measurement Management System is a set of interrelated or interacting elements necessary to achieve metrological confirmation and control of measurement processes. Policy. Policy is intentions and direction of an organization as formally expressed by its top management. Quality policy. Quality policy is a policy related to quality. Generally, the quality policy is consistent with the overall policy of the organization, can be aligned with the organization's vision and mission, and provides a framework for the setting of quality objectives. Quality management principles presented in this international standard can form a basis for the establishment of a quality policy. Vision. Vision is an aspiration of what an organization would like to become as expressed by top management. Mission. Mission is organization's purpose for existing as expressed by top management. Strategy. Strategy means plan to achieve a long-term or overall objective. Let's talk now about the terms related to requirement. Object, entity, or item. It means anything perceivable or conceivable. For example, product, service, process, person, organization, system, resource. Objects can be material, example, an engine, a sheet of paper, a diamond. Non-material, example, conversion ratio, a project plan. Or imagined, example, the future state of the organization. Quality. Quality means degree to which a set of inherent characteristics of an object fulfills requirements. The term quality can be used with adjectives such as poor, good, or excellent. Grade. Grade means category or rank given to different requirements for an object having the same functional use. For example, class of airline ticket and category of hotel in a hotel brochure. When establishing a quality requirement, the grade is generally specified. Requirement. Requirement means need or expectation that is stated, generally implied or obligatory. Generally implied means that it is custom or common practice for the organization and interested parties that the need or expectation under consideration is implied. A specified requirement is one that is stated, for example, in documented information. A qualifier can be used to denote a specific type of requirement. Example, product requirement, quality management requirement, customer requirement, quality requirement. Requirements can be generated by different interested parties or by the organization itself. It can be necessary for achieving high customer satisfaction to fulfill an expectation of a customer, even if it is neither stated nor generally implied or obligatory. Quality requirement. Quality requirement is a requirement related to quality. Statutory requirement. Statutory requirement is an obligatory requirement specified by a legislative body. Regulatory requirement. Regulatory requirement is an obligatory requirement specified by an authority mandated by a legislative body. Product configuration information. Product configuration information is requirement or other information for product design, realization, verification, operation, and support. Non-conformity. Non-conformity is non-fulfillment of a requirement. Defect. Defect is non-conformity related to an intended or specified use. The distinction between the concepts defect and non-conformity is important as it has legal connotations, particularly those associated with product and service liability issues. The intended use as intended by the customer can be affected by the nature of the information, such as operating or maintenance instructions. The intended use as intended by the customer can be affected by the nature of the information, such as operating or maintenance instructions provided by the provider. Conformity. Conformity is fulfillment of a requirement. Capability. Capability is an ability of an object to realize an output that will fulfill the requirements for that output. Traceability. Traceability is an ability to trace the history, application, or location of an object. When considering a product or a service, traceability can relate to the origin of materials and parts, the processing history, the distribution and location of the product or service after delivery. Dependability. Dependability is an ability to perform as and when required. Innovation. Innovation means new or changed object realizing or redistributing value. Innovation is generally significant in its effect. Coming to the terms related to results. Objective. Objective is the result to be achieved. An objective can be strategic, tactical, or operational. Objectives can relate to different disciplines such as financial, health, safety, and environmental objectives, and can apply at different levels such as strategic, organization, wide, project, product, and process. An objective can be expressed in other ways. Example, as an intended outcome, a purpose, an operational criterion, as a quality objective, or by the use of other words with similar meaning. Example, aim, goal, or target. In the context of quality management systems, quality objectives are set by the organization, consistent with the quality policy, to achieve specific results. Quality objective. Quality objective is an objective related to quality. Quality objectives are generally based on the organization's quality policy. Quality objectives are generally specified for relevant functions, levels, and processes in the organization. Success. Success is basically achievement of an objective. The success of an organization emphasizes the need for a balance between its economic or financial interests and the needs of its interested parties, such as customers, users, investors, shareholders, owners, people in the organization, providers, partners, interest groups, and communities. Sustained success. Sustained success is success over a period of time. Sustained success emphasizes the need for a balance between economic, financial interests of an organization and those of the social and ecological environment. Sustained success relates to the interested parties of an organization, such as customers, owners, people in an organization, providers, bankers, unions, partners, or society. Output. Output is the result of a process. Whether an output of the organization is a product or a service depends on the preponderance of the characteristics involved. Example, a painting for sale in a gallery is a product, whereas supply of a commissioned painting is a service. A hamburger bought in a retail store is a product, whereas receiving an order and serving a hamburger ordered in a restaurant is part of a service. Product. Product is the output of an organization that can be produced without any transaction taking place between the organization and the customer. Production of a product is achieved without any transaction necessarily taking place between a provider and the customer, but can often involve this service element upon its delivery to the customer. The dominant element of a product is that it is generally tangible. Hardware is tangible and its amount is a countable characteristic. Example, tires. Processed materials are tangible and their amount is a continuous characteristic. Example, fuel and soft drinks. Hardware and processed materials are often referred to as goods. Software consists of information regardless of delivery medium. Example, computer program, mobile phone app, instruction manual, dictionary content, musical composition, copyright, driver's license. Service. Service is the output of an organization with at least one activity necessarily performed between the organization and the customer. The dominant elements of a service are generally intangible. Service often involves activities at the interface with the customer to establish customer requirements as well as upon delivery of the service, and can involve a continuing relationship such as banks, accountancies, or public organizations. Example, schools or hospitals. Provision of a service can involve, for example, an activity performed on a customer supplied tangible product. Example, a car to be repaired. An activity performed on a customer supplied intangible product. Example, the income statement needed to prepare a tax return. The delivery of an intangible product. Example, the delivery of the information in the context of knowledge transmission. The creation of ambience for the customer. Example, in hotels and restaurants. A service is generally experienced by the customer. Performance. Performance is measurable result. Performance can relate to either to quantitative or qualitative findings. Performance can relate to the management of activities, processes, products, services, systems, or organizations. Risk. Risk as an effect of uncertainty. An effect is a deviation from the expected. It could be positive or negative. Uncertainty is the state, even partial, of deficiency of information related to understanding or knowledge of an event, its consequence, or likelihood. Risk is often characterized by reference to potential events as defined in ISO Guide 73 2009 3.5.1.3 and consequences as defined in ISO Guide 73 2009 3.6.1.3 or a combination of these. Risk is often expressed in terms of a combination of the consequences of an event, including changes in circumstances, and the associated likelihood, as defined in ISO Guide 73 2009 3.6.1.1 of occurrence. The word risk is sometimes used when there is the possibility of only negative consequences. Efficiency. Efficiency is the relationship between the result achieved and the resources used. Effectiveness. Effectiveness is an extent to which planned activities are realized and planned results are achieved. Let's discuss the terms related to data, information, and document. Data. Data are facts about an object. Information. Information means meaningful data. Objective evidence. Objective evidence is a data supporting the existence of verity of something. Objective evidence can be obtained through observation, measurement, test, or by other means. Objective evidence for the purpose of audit generally consists of records, statements of facts, or other information which are relevant to the audit criteria and verifiable. Information system. Information system is a network of communication channels used within an organization. Document. Document means information and the medium on which it is contained. For example, record, specification, procedure document, drawing, report, and standard, etc. The medium can be paper, magnetic, electronic, or optical computer disk, photograph, or master sample, or combination thereof. A set of documents, for example, specifications and records, is frequently called documentation. Some requirements, example, the requirement to be readable, relate to all types of documents. However, there can be different requirements for specifications. Example, the requirement to be revision controlled. And for records, example, the requirement to be retrievable. Documented information. Documented information is an information required to be controlled and maintained by an organization and the medium on which it is contained. Documented information can be in any format and media and from any source. Documented information can refer to the management system, including related processes, information created in order for the organization to operate, documentation, evidence of results achieved. Specification. Specification means documents stating requirements. For example, quality manual, quality plan, technical drawing, procedure document, work instructions. A specification can be related to activities, example, procedure document, process specification, and test, or products, example, product specification, performance specification, and drawing. It can be that by stating requirements, a specification additionally is stated results achieved by design and development, and thus, in some cases, can be used as a record. Quality manual. Quality manual is a specification for the quality management system of an organization. Quality manuals can vary in detail and format to suit the size and complexity of an individual organization. Quality plan. Quality plan is specification of the procedures and associated resources to be applied when and by whom to a specific object. These procedures generally include those referring to quality management processes and to product and service realization processes. A quality plan often makes reference to parts of the quality manual or to procedure documents. A quality plan is generally one of the results of quality planning. Record. Record is a document stating results achieved or providing evidence of activities performed. Records can be used, for example, to formalize traceability and to provide evidence of verification, preventive action, and corrective action. Generally, records need not be under revision control. Project management plan. Project management plan is a document specifying what is necessary to meet the objectives of the project. A project management plan should include or refer to the project's quality plan. The project management plan also includes or references such other plans as those relating to organizational structures, resources, schedule, budget, risk management, environmental management, health and safety management, and security management as appropriate. Verification. Verification is basically confirmation through the provision of objective evidence that specified requirements have been fulfilled. The objective evidence needed for a verification can be the result of an inspection or of other forms of determination, such as performing alternative calculations or reviewing documents. The activities carried out for verification are sometimes called a qualification process. The word verified is used to designate the corresponding status. Validation. Validation is actually confirmation through the provision of objective evidence that the requirements for a specific intended use or application have been fulfilled. The objective evidence needed for a validation is the result of a test or other form of determination, such as performing alternative calculations or reviewing documents. The word validated is used to designate the corresponding status. The use conditions for validation can be real or simulated. Configuration status accounting. Configuration status accounting is formalized recording and reporting of product configuration information. 3.6.8. The status of proposed changes and the status of the implementation of approved changes. Specific case. Specific case is a subject of the quality plan. This term is used to avoid repetition of process, product, project, or contract within ISO 10005. Let's talk about the terms related to customers. Feedback. Feedback is opinions, comments, and expressions of interest in a product, a service, or a complaints handling process. Customer satisfaction. Customer satisfaction is customers' perception of the degree to which the customer's expectations have been fulfilled. It can be that the customer's expectation is not known to the organization or even to the customer in question until the product or service is delivered. It can be necessary for achieving high customer satisfaction to fulfill an expectation of a customer, even if it is neither stated nor generally implied or obligatory. Complaints are a common indicator of low customer satisfaction, but their absence does not necessarily imply high customer satisfaction. Even when customer requirements have been agreed with the customer and fulfilled, this does not necessarily ensure high customer satisfaction. Complaint. Complaint is an expression of dissatisfaction made to an organization related to its product or service or the complaints handling process itself, where a response or resolution is explicitly or implicitly expected. Customer service. Customer service is basically interaction of the organization with the customer throughout the life cycle of a product or a service. Customer satisfaction code of conduct. Customer satisfaction code of conduct are promises made to the customers by an organization concerning its behavior that are aimed at enhanced customer satisfaction. 3.9.2 and related provisions. Related provisions can include objectives, conditions, limitations, contact information, and complaints, handling procedures. In ISO 10001-2007, the term code is used instead of customer satisfaction code of conduct. Dispute. Dispute is disagreement arising from a complaint submitted to a DRP provider. Some organizations allow their customers to express their dissatisfaction to a DRP provider in the first instance. In this situation, the expression of dissatisfaction becomes a complaint when sent to the organization for a response and becomes a dispute if not resolved by the organization without DRP provider intervention. Many organizations prefer their customers to first express any dissatisfaction to the organization before utilizing dispute resolution external to the organization. Coming to the terms related to characteristic. Characteristic. Characteristic is basically a distinguishing feature. A characteristic can be inherent or assigned. A characteristic can be qualitative or quantitative. There are various classes of characteristics, such as the following. Physical, example mechanical, electrical, chemical, or biological characteristics. Sensory, example related to smell, touch, taste, sight, hearing. Behavioral, example courtesy, honesty, veracity. Temporal, example punctuality, reliability, availability, continuity. Ergonomic, physiological, characteristic or related to human safety. Functional, example maximum speed of an aircraft. Quality characteristic. Quality characteristic is inherent characteristic of an object related to a requirement. Inherent means existing in something, especially as a permanent characteristic. A characteristic assigned to an object, example the price of an object, is not a quality characteristic of that object. Human factor. Human factor is characteristic of a person having an impact on an object under consideration. Characteristics can be physical, cognitive, or social. Human factors can have a significant impact on a management system. Competence. Competence is an ability to apply knowledge and skills to achieve intended results. Demonstrated competence is sometimes referred to as qualification. Metrological characteristic. Metrological characteristic is a characteristic which can influence the results of measurement. Measuring equipment usually has several metrological characteristics. Metrological characteristics can be the subject of calibration. Configuration. Configuration is interrelated functional and physical characteristics of a product or service defined in product configuration information. Configuration baseline. Configuration baseline is approved product configuration information that establishes the characteristics of a product or service at a point in time that serves as reference for activities throughout the life cycle of the product or service. Let's discuss the terms related to determination. Determination. Determination is an activity to find out one or more characteristics and their characteristic values. Review. Review is determination of the suitability, adequacy, or effectiveness of an object to achieve established objectives. For example, management review, design and development review, review of customer requirements, review of corrective action, and peer review. Review can also include the determination of efficiency. Monitoring. Monitoring is determining the status of a system, a process, a product, a service, or an activity. For the determination of the status, there can be a need to check, supervise, or critically observe. Monitoring is generally a determination of the status of an object carried out at different stages or at different times. Measurement. Measurement is a process to determine a value. According to ISO 35342, the value determined is generally the value of a quantity. Measurement process. Measurement process set of operations to determine the value of a quantity. Measuring equipment. Measuring equipment is measuring instrument, software, measurement standard, reference material, or auxiliary apparatus, or combination thereof necessary to realize a measurement process. Inspection. Inspection is determination of conformity to specified requirements. If the result of an inspection shows conformity, it can be used for purposes of verification. The result of an inspection can show conformity or non-conformity or a degree of conformity. Test. Test is determination according to requirements for a specific intended use or application. If the result of a test shows conformity, it can be used for purposes of validation. Progress evaluation. Progress evaluation is assessment of progress made on achievement of the project objectives. This assessment should be carried out at appropriate points in the project file lifecycle across project processes, based on criteria for project processes and product or service. The results of progress evaluations can lead to revision of the project management plan. Coming to the terms related to action. Preventive action. Preventive action is an action to eliminate the cause of a potential non-conformity or other potential undesirable situations. There can be more than one cause for a potential non-conformity. Preventive action is taken to prevent occurrence, whereas corrective action is taken to prevent recurrence. Corrective action. Corrective action is an action to eliminate the cause of a non-conformity and to prevent recurrence. There can be more than one cause for a non-conformity. Corrective action is taken to prevent recurrence, whereas preventive action is taken to prevent occurrence. Correction. Correction is an action to eliminate a detected non-conformity. A correction can be made in advance of, in conjunction with, or after a corrective action. A correction can be, for example, rework or regrade. Regrade. Regrade is alteration of the grade of a non-conforming product or service in order to make it conform to requirements differing from the initial requirements. Concession. Concession is permission to use or release a product or service that does not conform to specified requirements. A concession is generally limited to the delivery of products and services that have non-conforming characteristics within specified limits and is generally given for a limited quantity of products and services or period of time and for a specific use. Deviation permit. Deviation permit is permission to depart from the originally specified requirements of a product or service prior to its realization. A deviation permit is generally given for a limited quantity of products and services or period of time and for a specific use. Release. Release is permission to proceed to the next stage of a process or the next process. In English, In the context of software and documents, the word release is frequently used to refer to a version of the software or the document itself. Rework. Rework is an action on a non-conforming product or service to make it conform to the requirements. Rework can affect or change parts of the non-conforming product or service. Repair. Repair is an action on a non-conforming product or service to make it acceptable for the intended use. A successful repair of a non-conforming product or service does not necessarily make the product or service conform to the requirements. It can be that in conjunction with the repair, a concession is required. Repair includes remedial action taken on a previously conforming product or service to restore it for use. For example, as part of maintenance. Repair can affect or change parts of the non-conforming product or service. Scrap. Scrap is an action on a non-conforming product or service to preclude its originally intended use. For example, recycling, destruction. In a non-conforming service situation, use is precluded by discontinuing the service. Let's talk about the terms related to audit. Audit. Audit is a systematic, independent, and documented process for obtaining objective evidence and evaluating it objectively to determine the extent to which the audit criteria are fulfilled. The fundamental elements of an audit include the determination of the conformity of an object according to a procedure carried out by personnel not being responsible for the object audited. An audit can be an internal audit, first party, or an external audit, second party, or third party, and it can be a combined audit or a joint audit. Internal audits, sometimes called first party audits, are conducted by or on behalf of the organization itself for management review and other internal purposes, and can form the basis of an organization's declaration of conformity. Independence can be demonstrated by the freedom from responsibility for the activity being audited. External audits include those generally called second and third party audits. Second party audits are conducted by parties having an interest in the organization, such as customers or by other persons on their behalf. Third party audits. Third party audits are conducted by external independent auditing organizations such as those providing certification, registration of conformity, or governmental agencies. This constitutes one of the common terms and core definitions for ISO management system standards given in Annex SL of the consolidated ISO supplement to the ISO IEC directives, Part 1. The original definition and notes to entry have been modified to remove effect of circulatory between audit criteria and audit evidence term entries, and notes 3 and 4 to entry have been added. Combined audit. Combined audit is an audit carried out together at a single auditee on two or more management systems. The parts of a management system that can be involved in a combined audit can be identified by the relevant management system standards, product standards, service standards, or process standards being applied by the organization. Joint audit. Joint audit is an audit carried out at a single auditee by two or more auditing organizations. Audit program. Audit program is set of one or more audits planned for a specific time frame and directed towards a specific purpose. Audit scope. Audit scope is extent and boundaries of an audit. The audit scope generally includes a description of the physical locations, organizational units, activities, and processes. Audit plan. Audit plan is description of the activities and arrangements for an audit. Audit criteria, set of policies 3.5.8, procedures 3.4.5, or requirements 3.6.4, used as a reference against which objective evidence 3.8.3 is compared. Audit evidence. Audit evidence are records, statements of facts, or other information which are relevant to the audit criteria. 3. Point 13, point 7, and verifiable. Audit findings. Audit findings are results of the evaluation of the collected audit evidence against audit criteria. Audit findings indicate conformity or non-conformity. Audit findings can lead to the identification of opportunities for improvement or recording good practices. In English, if the audit criteria are selected from statutory requirements or regulatory requirements, the audit finding can be called compliance or non-compliance. Audit conclusion. Audit conclusion is the outcome of an audit after consideration of the audit objectives and all audit findings. Audit client. Audit client is organization or person requesting an audit. Auditee. Auditee is an organization being audited. Guide. Guide is a person appointed by the auditee to assist the audit team. Audit team. Audit team is one or more persons conducting an audit, supported if needed by technical experts. One auditor of the audit team is appointed as the audit team leader. The audit team can include auditors in training. Auditor. Auditor is a person who conducts an audit. Technical expert. Technical expert is a person who provides specific knowledge or expertise to the audit team. Specific knowledge or expertise relates to the organization, the process or activity to be audited, or language or culture. A technical expert does not act as an auditor in the audit team. Observer. Observer is a person who accompanies the audit team but does not act as an auditor. An observer can be a member of the auditee, a regulator, or other interested parties who witness the audit. So friends, till now it was all about the section 3, terms and definitions of ISO 9001-2015. I sincerely thank you all for your interest and attention. Thank you and best wishes.